Blessed be my lovelies, welcome back to the channel. Today we are setting up Q1 and January in my bullet journal for 2026. I'm first starting with my key. I originally had this going for the initial setup for the 2026 journal, but I hadn't finished figuring out what my key was going to be, if I needed to make any changes, if I needed to add anything. And I finally did finish it and I got it figured out in time for this setup. So my key only has one added thing for 2026, and that is a symbol to denote connecting my tasks. It's just a line that connects the indicators for the type of task, so like a circle for task or a square for events. My key is empty circle for task, a half filled circle for task started, a full circle for task completed, a line through the entire line for task not done, a arrow pointing to the right for task migrated, a square for event, a tabbed arrow is what I'm going to call it for subtask, a dash for note, a sideways triangle for habit, an upright triangle for journal, and then, like I said, the new one, the line connecting task. I'm using quite a bit of the sticker sheets from the initial 2026 setup. I'm using soft Flora for a lot of these January pages, and I'm also continuing to use the Calla Lily in Purple Heart to decorate the key, just to make it feel more like a part of the initial setup spreads. Those, like my yearly goals, my cover pages for 2026 have the Calla Lily stickers on it, so I want it to feel like it's a part of those baseline spreads. But then January is going to contain more soft Flora than purple Calla Lilies. Moving on to the actual January setup, we're first going to get into my Q1 goals. Now, I usually do the Q1 goals as sort of like the smaller task of my yearly goals for each quarter. That's how they usually set up. So I usually refer back to my yearly goals to get an understanding and then break those down into my quarterly goals. So as usual, I have my 4 sections. It's technically 3 with the third one split into 2, but my first section is personal, and in that I have 5 goals compared to my yearly goals of only 4. I usually just add like a smaller one that is more aligned. It's not like a major project because I have no idea how long it's actually going to take me. So it's just like do a little bit of this here and there, and it's just a reminder that this is a thing that I want to do. So in my personal section, I have for my first goal to read Game of Thrones. I've had the first book in the series for what feels like years at this point, and it's quite big. It's the short stubby version that's about as thick as my palm is tall. And I have that as, instead of like a numbered reading goal, it's just the only book that I know for a fact that I need to read this quarter. I say need, but it's more than likely the only book that I'm going to be able to read this quarter because it's so big. Then I have for my second one to journal more, don't keep it in. Third one is to adjust my schedule to streaming later in the day. Coming in January, I'm going to be switching my stream times to later in the day to accommodate a more vibey, relaxing atmosphere. I want to be able to essentially be the TV show people turn on when they come home from work or school and just vibe and chillax, just de-stress really. Then my fourth one is to practice drawing characters. I want to get back into, well, I say get back into like I ever was able to. I want to get into being able to repeat my characters, like draw them the exact same way every single time and understand them in a way that I can change their faces to fit the mood or whatever. Then in 5, I want to finalize the language that I'm creating for my visual novel or graphic novel, whatever the heck it's called. For health, I have 3 goals: add core workouts to my regular routine, make recipe section in Notion for ease of access, be more conscious of my mental health. Then in my business sections, I have for Shadowbun Co. to research making shorts and posts, plan posts and brainstorm collections, reach out to an art festival / event that's on island, and to rig the air model that I drew on stream probably like a month, 2 months ago. Then for Exceed, I want to collect all the written lore into a Notion page, record more episodic series or one-offs, and do more collabs / stream challenges on the streams. So really, I kept it quite simple for this. I use more of the smaller elements on the soft Flora page. I'm kind of hoping that I have a second soft Flora printed, because if I don't, I'm kind of screwed because my printer is being stupid and won't let me print anything just because a single ink cartridge is empty. I'm upset. Can you tell I'm upset? I'm upset. And now we're going into the cover spread for January. I kept it really simple compared to this year, last year's 2025 setups, where I would do a border, I would decorate the entirety of the left-hand side and bring those elements over to the right-hand side just a little bit with the title page. I couldn't come up with anything. I truly couldn't. I just said, okay, let me just take all the elements that I have been using so far and just use them again. And I'm still not 100% if I even like this spread. I highly doubt I can go in and change it because glue I use is extra strength, and once it's down, it's never coming back up without damaging everything else. So it is what it is. I'm gonna have to live with it. And I can probably just add more things if I wanted to at the end of the day. I really wish I took the time to make sure that it was centered on the page. Everything is just a little too high, but at least they're both a little too high, so they're centered with each other. It looks like, at least to me, that's what it looks like. It looks like the decoration on the left is aligned with the title on the right. And I didn't do that on purpose. That was purely by accident, and I didn't realize until now when I was going through and putting up the clips and stuff. It's honestly, a stroke of luck. Not genius, stroke of luck. And so I'm keeping it very simple. Like I said, very simple. I'm using the dictionary pages that I printed months ago, years ago probably. Some more of the blank header strips, this time in the faded Jade page because I wanted the light blue from that. Then I'm also using my dark blue Tombow, color will be on screen and in the description, to do the title for January. I kept it so simple. Now we're on to the grid for January. I always keep these simple because at the end of the month they become very chaotic, very filled in, and it is just going to be a rehashing. As the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm just keeping what works and I'm gonna thrive in it. And the beauty of having a bullet journal is being able to adjust when you need to. Adjust things to fit your needs, be currently or in the future. And so I am just setting up the grid with my usual writing pen. It's just a regular Bic Gelocity, I think it is. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. I think Gelocity is the other one that I really like. I'm keeping it so simple, it's actually kind of painful. This is what happens when I don't have the motivation or the energy to think of about anything, to do my setups. Not to make them like extravagant or anything. I think I used up all of my energy into like the last quarter of 2025 doing like painted pages and ultra decorated spreads. But I feel like I just needed the simplicity of a new year. I just needed to slow down. I think, especially because I'm currently 6 days into being unmedicated. It is not fun, let me tell you, it is not fun. But yes, Soft Flora is making a return. Like I said, she is the icon for January, and I'm truly hoping, again, that I have a second page of her. I do want to make a second page like I did for Leif, like make another Soft Flora spring page, just so I have like two to pick from and I'm not just rehashing the same page over and over and over again. But yeah, I love her for one. She's so sweet. She's my first ever decorative sheet and truly she's the pioneer for my decorative sheets. But where I'm getting off track. January cover page is incredibly simple. I just repeated the theming from the actual cover page onto this. And I'm using I'm using my new stickers. These are new. They are the minier monthly tabs. Because my original monthly tabs, from my liking, were a bit too big. This is what I had originally in mind when I created them, but they came out, like I said, too big. So I just halved their size and abbreviated the months. And thankfully I didn't have to spell December in full, because on the original mini tabs, December is spelled incorrectly on one half of the tab. And if I didn't go in with this idea to make them smaller, I wouldn't have noticed until it was too late. But thankfully I was able to correct it. And it's just a whole mess. But now I'm going into the projects and tasks page of January. And like I said in my December setup, I am switching it up a little bit because I'm starting to dislike leaving a blank empty page. So I've decided to use that section, that right hand page where I usually have like my notes and like tables and all sorts of things just written there. I've decided to actually put it to use, structured use, I should say. I've also added a monthly habit tracker down at the very bottom, very small, very thin, with enough room to expand to, I think, at least 2 more habits. I've included on the right hand side, that right hand page is where I'm doing my calculations for my health journey, my physical health journey, and then below that I have it split into 2 columns for migrated tasks from the previous month or previous year, depending on where in the year this is, and a notes column right next to it. I don't usually have overall notes for the month, or overall month notes, I should say, but I usually just have, like, I just flip to an empty spot that I know, and I will put the note there. And I feel like it's just a subconscious thing to put it on the monthly page so that I don't have to, like, immediately go and index it to remember where it is. I just know, okay, I made this note in the month. It is more than likely on projects and tasks spread, so let me check there first. That is, I think, just about that for this. I'm not going to pen in all the pencil that I've written in for my projects and tasks. I usually do that off camera because sometimes I go in and just take my time with it, for one, but also it's to triple check, like, my event dates and to make sure that my spelling is correct. If it's not spelt correctly, I'm not going to know what I meant. It's also just to, like, triple check, double check, quadruple check what it is that I'm up to now, that these are the actual tasks, that they're in the right space, that they're actually, like, written correctly, as in the idea is succinct and is getting across. And when I look at it, I immediately know what I meant, and if not, I can change the wording to fix it. But I don't pen it in while I'm setting up, while I'm doing the video. I pen it in afterwards because I need to do all of that, call it beta reading, afterwards. Finishing up the decorations in that bottom left corner, and then we are on to the first weekly in January. Started off a bit rocky, but I got there. So it might look a bit strange because I'm including the last 3 days of December, and I have those 3 days in my current 2025 journal. I'm just going to transfer those tasks and events and all of that over when the month is over, and I think on literally New Year's Eve I'm going to do that, just so there is consistency to the week, because January starts on a Thursday, and I wanted to keep all of December in one book, all of 2025 in one journal. So I don't mind that I'm technically starting my 2026 with December. It's more 2026 than it is 2025 because there's only 3 days of 2025 in it. But either way, it's very simple, these decorations, and like always, I'm going to be decorating the rest of the spreads and then posting them on my Instagram afterwards. So keep an eye out for that if you want to see what I did with the decorations and stuff, and if I actually found a second sheet of soft Flora or not. I truly, like, it's probably the 3rd time I'm saying it, but I'm crossing my fingers and my toes that I have a second one. I would check now, but if I break flow, I will forget where I am and I will get annoyed. So I'm not going to do that right now. Afterwards, I will. As I'm finishing the decorations for this weekly and going through the flip through, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, comment down below, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel so that I can start doing art streams. I'm kidding. I'm only kidding a little bit, but truly thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye 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 bye.